Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a Madness Q&A. Round of applause, please. Okay, as you can see, we have three members of the illustrious group Madness. We have Woody, we have Suggs, we have Mike, and my name is Miranda Sawyer. The way the evening's going to go is this is a kind of musical choice evening. So the boys, I hesitate to call them boys, but the boys have chosen some tracks that they're going to play. There's one kind of rarish Madness one in there. There's a couple from the new album. We're going to talk about them. There will be time for a Q&A for questions from the audience for you towards the end. And then after that, we'll hear the album in full, okay? All right? So it sounds fun. Okay, so I got sent various tracks from Madness, and then they changed their mind, and we've done it all again. And we're starting off now with a choice from you, Suggs, and it's called Have a Cup of Tea, and it's by the Kinks. Shall we start why you picked that?
I forgot. But then I remembered, Clive Langer reminded me, he was on the radio recently and he chose that song. And it obviously got stuck in my unconscious. But yeah, the Kinks, like talking about everyday life, was very important to us. I remember Ian Dury saying when Mott the Hoople, who were a great band, wrote All the Way to Memphis. No, Ian Hunter said, that's it. Well, I'm not going to write All the Way to Walthamstow, am I? And Ian Dury and indeed the Kinks proved that you could write about Walthamstow. And, as low as you can get on the ladder of talking about inconsequential working class life, have a cup of tea.
It's also, if you think about the Kinks, obviously they're a band that write about everyday life, everyday British life, which is obviously which is what you do. Were you inspired by that, or you just decided to do it anyway?
I'm totally inspired by that. It's very hard to separate. We've been together for a long time. Who influenced who in terms of songwriting. We were unusual because we all write songs. But very, very early on, Lee, our sax player, gave me a copy of Handsome by Kilburn and the High Roads, which was Ian Dury's first band. And then, you learn, and the Kinks had You Really Got Me, and then the Who did My Generation with Shel Tammy. But then the Kinks weren't allowed to go to America for criminal reasons. And so then, from what I understand, Ray Davies inverted and decided to do something really about his own culture, which is Britain, which is, a really fantastic place full of all sorts of eccentricity. And yeah, for sure, like I said, we wrote about our house, we wrote about our first girlfriends, we wrote about going to school. But have a cup of tea. How, emotive is that if you're the people of our age, every time anything happened, your dad got run over by a tractor, your mum ran off with another woman, have a cup of tea.
And all was fine,
Have a cup of tea, hallelujah, 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 Rosie Lee.
Plus the kind of football chant in there as well. So, if you think about that album as well, the Have a Cup of Tea, the Kinks album, it's Muswell Hillbillies, and it's basically a shot of a pub as well.
Yeah, it's the Archway Tavern. Yeah, the Archway Tavern. And for those of you that don't know, if you went up there on a Friday night, they used to play the Irish national anthem. If you didn't stand up, you would be flat on your back. They passed round the hat. Yeah, it's very Irish. That part of London, where we came from, was very Irish, and that's not necessarily anything to do with this song. But yeah, to see what you call pop stars just in an ordinary pub was a sort of inspiration for us. Yeah, that you could be ordinary and still be a pop star, I think is a remarkable thing.
And Woody, did you like the Kings? Mike, any more comments before we're going to play the track? I'm going to whiz through the tracks quite quickly because we've got a lot to play. So
I did like the Kinks. My mum liked the Kinks more than I did, but I preferred other bands that talked about having a cup of tea. In fact, when people say have a cup of tea, I always think of Gong. So, but that's my hippie thing. But no, I get everything Suggsy's saying. Kinks grew on me massively when I was exposed to them when I met this lot. Yeah. Fantastic.
There's a brilliant part of this track as well. You'll hear it, when we play it. It sounds to me like the kind of percussion sounds like, like a one-man band, and they're kind of going. Yeah. It's a really kind of like quite a drunken one-man band in the back, I think. I might be wrong, but that's what it sounds like.
How dare you speak about us like that?
Shall we hear it?
No.
Yeah, go on.
Granny's always raving and ranting, and she's always puffing and panting, and she's always screaming and shouting, and she's always brewing up tea. Grandpappy's never late for his dinner, 'cause he loves his leg of beef, and he washes it down with a brandy and a fresh made pot of tea. Have a cup of tea. Have a cup of tea. Have a cup of tea. If you feel a little bit peeved, take Grandma's standby potion for any old cough or wheeze. It's a cure for hepatitis, it's a cure for chronic insomnia, it's a cure for tonsillitis and for water on the knee. Have a cup of tea. Have a cup of tea. Hallelujah, 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 Rosalie.
You see what I mean about it sounding like a drunken one-man band? No, just me. Okay, we've got the next one. We've got a white man in Hammersmith Palais. Who wants to claim that? Mike.
I suggested this song.
Okay.
So I don't know if I should claim it, but I mean, the idea of these songs was just to play songs that we sort of influenced us when we were first starting. And so I remember that song influencing me. Well, that album, really, the Muswell Hillbillies, my mum moved to Crouch End at that time, so I was quite living near, close by to Muswell Hill. So I've got very fond memories of listening to that album back in the day, you know, before we started. And White Man in Hammersmith Palace was one time we were rehearsing in Muswell Hill by coincidence. And John Esler, who was the part-time drummer, singer, manager in those days, he brought that record in, like for a bit of inspiration. We were setting up. His dad was a policeman, but not really relevant to anything. But we were all set up in his front room, and we had all the drum kit and the mics and speakers and all that. And we were playing a few tracks. Yeah, one of them was a reggae version of "Touch Me in the Morning." No, is it "Touch Me in the Morning"? A Diana Ross song. It was a brilliant reggae version of it.
It is, Mike.
Yeah, that's right. Should have done that.
Is it? If I haven't said anything
Touch
incorrect,
me in
have I?
the morning.
Touch Me, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a bit like that Ian Drury record. What
Then
was that
just
one?
walk away.
Wake up,
You're
and make
more
love
than
to me.
fair.
Wake up and make love with me.
You got a gorgeous bum.
Anyway, it was brilliant. White Man at Hammersmith Palace, yeah, brilliant track. I mean, especially the sound of it is just great, I think. And we were doing that sort of thing. I mean, in those days, it was sort of punk music, and they were playing quite a lot of reggae as well in those days.
Yeah.
So it was a sort of, bubbling up sort of thing. And they were like, white men doing it. And in those days, apparently, white men couldn't do it, they used to say.
Yeah.
And so that gave us, I don't know, I mean, we were, Specials came down from Coventry, and we were also very much into reggae music as well. But that was just a great track, I thought. I loved the sound of it and everything.
Yeah.
And words are not bad either, yeah. I mean, he was talking about, anyway, not that I know what he was talking about, because I didn't write it, but I looked at the lyrics the other day and went over it, and he's talking about selling out, basically. People sort of...
What I heard as well.
Making music into something for the show, which
Like
you
a
see a lot
commodity.
these days, like about money, It's like, I don't know, it goes... There's something authentic, which a bit I think, like the Kinks were doing. They were talking about something authentic about their life. And sometimes when there's money involved, it can go a bit funny, I think. So, anyway.
We do everything for
Well, I tell
nothing
you-
these days.
Another interesting, funny enough, was I heard on the radio that there's an anniversary, and all the people he mentions, Joe Strummer, who wrote the words, Dillinger and all that, there was a show, in 1976. It actually happened, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he turned up. Him and Mick Jones were the two white men in Hammersmith Palais.
Yeah.
And they've got all this set of all the acts that were on, and they've made a little album of all the people that he talks about in the song. And that thing of what Mike said about authenticity, because he didn't just say, I went to some reggae gig. He talks about all the artists he saw, and all them artists did play on that night.
Yeah.
And that's a fact.
Yeah, it's real. Is it also true that you once went to a class rehearsal dressed as policemen,
Well, it's
and they didn't speak to you for 5 years?
It's my part of the story, the real historians of the band will argue with me. But, we used to dress up quite a lot when we did our videos, and we there was this very serious theatrical costumiers called Berman and Nathans, and they took a shine to us and let us take pretty much anything we liked. And one day we got our hands on these coppers' uniforms. Now, I can't even begin to tell you the fun the 7 of us had out on the streets in them. Now, whether this is completely factually correct or not, who gives a flying bollocks?
It's a good
We were in
story.
Chalk Farm, and the Clash were rehearsing, so we kicked the door in and went, "Oi, you lot, it's the pigs." There was just a lot of doors slamming and toilets flushing. And they never spoke to us for 5 years.
Shall we hear it?
The
Okay.
Clash, what a band, yeah, what a band, what a
They
band,
were.
what a band, what a band. Put that in your pipe.
I like the fact that we're applauding the tracks. It's
Clap the Clash.
If you think about that time, like if you think about the punk time, the Clash and the Sex Pistols, they were kind of known for rivalry, kind of spurring them on. Did you ever feel like that with other groups, or did you feel like you were joined with other groups, or did you feel rivalry?
Just a long answer to that question. To start it off simply, I remember we all went down. Well, I did, and I think some of us did, down the Roxy in 1977. And at that time, Don Letts was DJing, and there weren't enough punk records to play because there was hardly been any made, you know. So he was playing Culture, like 2/7's Clash and all that. I remember being with us, and it was like we were more interested in the records between the punk bands. But then the Clash came along, and that thing where they then mixed up the reggae in what they were doing was a big game changer for us. But the other thing about that punk rivalry thing, I was talking to someone. We played in Hammersmith, the Three Kings, the Nashville Rooms or something.
Yeah.
We were supporting the Specials, and then we had to get back to Camden Town to play at the Dublin Castle. And my mate said to me, there was a queue of kids. All of a sudden, they were wearing Harringtons and two-tone badges. All of a sudden, there was this feeling that there was a phenomena going on. They said a car pulled up and Johnny Rotten got out of the car, and he was, every single person in the queue, he went, "Are you for real? Are you for real? Are you for real? Are you for real?" And all of a sudden, it was real.
I'm going to move on from that now. And I'm going to move on to Hey Joe, which is yours, Woody.
Yeah. We don't really associate us with
No, I don't. I was quite surprised when you...
heavy rock, but I joined the band with band members saying that they actually loved Alice Cooper and Roxy Music, which is another love of mine.
Not here tonight.
Yeah.
No.
No, but you know we're made up of a multi-strand of weirdos. No, we're very eclectic, and you've got to remember where we grew up. We grew up in the 70s, and the music was just diverse, and you could walk into any pub, and there was lots of just fantastic music going on. I went to school opposite the Roundhouse, so I was in there every day, virtually, and there were bands on there all the time. So I was used to listening to guitar bands, but no one played a guitar like Jimi Hendrix. And I was about 10. It was about 1969 or 1970, where my dad had one of the first cassette machines, and he had a kind of a big rig like this, but a bit smaller actually, like we see. And it was but it was state of the art at the time because he had the money to do it, and he really liked records and this new thing called a cassette player. And he had a cassette with Whole Lot of Love, Hey Joe, and I think it might have been Carpenter's Goodbye to Love or something, God knows. But that had a bloody good guitar solo in it. It gets your old tingles going for me now, even. You know, I do like all kinds of music, and I'm not embarrassed to say so. But Hey Joe was just truly, truly exciting. At the same time of listening to that and playing it over and over and over again, I just loved the energy. It was the energy, the absolute pure energy. And the other thing I loved was the Beatles at the end of She's So Heavy, that kind of riff. Yeah,
we were going to play this, but it was too long.
It's all right, but,
in the end.
But the reason I liked it was because my brother and I, we used to air guitar around the front room.
It's a long air guitar, that.
Yeah, it's
8
great.
minutes.
But so those kind of happy memories of it's kind of, it influences us all, you know.
There's a thing though sometimes when you think about someone like Jimi Hendrix, he's so obviously like incredibly talented, amazing player and stuff like that, and it's like a contrast between what you were saying about punk, where people felt like they could just pick up once you see somebody do it, you feel like you're allowed to do it yourself. You just pick up an instrument and go. The contrast between that and Jimi Hendrix is massive, isn't it?
Who did he play with? The Isley Brothers or somebody?
I mean, I don't know for sure, but I have a feeling the way it was recorded was very spontaneous at the same time. I mean, he was obviously a very great guitar player. I mean, they were great musicians. I mean, what I love about Hey Joe is just everything. It all just sort of blends into something. You can't really hear one instrument from another. And it's just like there's nothing out of place. It's just like really like in the zone or whatever you might want to describe it as. I think they were very spontaneous. Yeah, so that was a bit of a similarity with punk music.
Yeah, and I think
And the
that
energy we
also, the energy what Woody mentioned, and you know, for me, it all got pompous, you know, rock. But actually, when you look back, Jimi Hendrix was a very humble man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a real McCoy, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone tries to rip him off. So.
I mean,
can't
not at that time. I mean, you know, it's also as things develop, isn't it? It's like they start off and they're you know, they're like any band. They've only just started. They're you know, they're not pretentious or pompous before they've even got anywhere. Usually the pomposity
But I'm just
grows as the you know, as
well,
the album.
as we know, Barzo. I mean, only look at
Take us for example.
look at yourself. I mean, you know what I mean?
Oh no.
No, but I mean, he was unnaturally talented, wasn't he? He was unnaturally talented. So you captured that amazing talent when it was still in its naivety.
Yeah, incandescent. Okay, let's hear it.
Come on! Come on!
Okay, that's the amazing Jimi Hendrix. All right.
Hey! All right.
Okay.
So Woody, we were just talking about the fact that you actually feel. I mean, you wouldn't put Jimi Hendrix and madness in the same place at all, but you feel a real affinity to someone like that. Why is that?
I do, but many reasons. I mean, the main one is the energy, and the thing is, I can relate to that band. It's really fresh. It's got excitement, which is exactly what we try to do, but on a different level. Jimi Hendrix used to pinch lyrics off Bob Dylan because he wanted to get people to listen to the words. He wanted to touch people. He wanted to not touch me in the morning. He wanted to. You know, touch them on a different level.
Touch me there.
That's what I think is the same for our music. You know, on the surface, it's all kind of, you know, nice, danceable pop music, but it's a little bit more complicated than that. And it's got an undercurrent. It's got a different meaning.
Yeah.
And if you listen to Jimi Hendrix, he doesn't just say, "Oh, hello, darling," you know, "I went to dance," you know, "I love her, doody doo." It's got a bit of something to it.
Yeah. Should we talk a little bit about the group dynamics? Because you know,
Root dynamics.
Root dynamics.
I love them.
All right.
I haven't dyed my hair, I
because there's a
promise.
couple of reasons why I wanted to do it. One was, you know, you Suggs have gone on record saying that you feel like madness is kind of form of group therapy for you all, and the other one is that I have a long-term kind of standing theory about bands, which doesn't really apply to you, and I want to know why. And what it is that most bands are an argument stroke love affair between two people. If you think like Lennon and McCartney, or you could even think of like Blur, Graham and Damon, or Oasis, or most of them, it's an argument stroke love affair.
And all that.
Jagger Richards, all that. So, but with you, it seems to be an argument stroke love affair with all of you.
Yes. And I think that is very interesting. And funny enough, there's some geezer out there who's made the movie Supersonic about Oasis, also made the movie about Amy Winehouse. They want to do a film about us. And it's going to be impossible. It's going to be impossible because we aren't in that, right? And what was most interesting in the little chat we had in a pub around the corner was we packed it up for 8 years. Then we got back together. Firstly, how do you explain that? Thirdly, there's all 7 of us write songs, and it is a democracy. So, no, we don't fit that cliche, no.
But do you find, I mean, if we go back to the idea of that group therapy thing, obviously one of the other things that united you when you were younger was that you came from single parents, and that was there's a growing up that you do as young men where you're almost like your own role models. You know, that if you don't have a father figure, then you create your own, don't you?
We were like a family. I mean, we all had each other's backs, and we had a shared experience, which was we were out there in the world doing it for ourselves. It was us against the world. We were also against the industry in a sense, because we were kind of, there was that whole thing about the pompous rock and roll business. We were coming out of that, and punk had kind of liberated it to a certain degree, but we were still in it. You know, that thing we were talking about earlier. You weren't listening, so I'll tell you. We were talking about the.
I am now, Woody. I am now.
No, the treadmill. You were listening. the treadmill that you go round, you know, making albums, going on the road, and it was endless, constant kind of a battle. And the only people you had were the band members. You kind of don't trust anyone, and it was that. And you know, you experienced life on the road, and it was and the studio and the ups and downs of it all, and you can't help but.
And also, you
together.
make music together, and that's a very specific thing.
Well, yeah, and
isn't
also
it?
the lucky thing was that you had a 7-way, you know, dynamic. You could do it mathematically, you know, 7 times 7 times, whatever. You know, one person could write on their own, 2 people could write, and then you had, you know, 3 people could write, all 7 could write. So the mathematical equation goes on forever.
Yeah.
And when you're sick of one lot, you talk to someone else.
But there's
But I
also,
think very seriously, that point you made is, that we did grow up together. You know, we grew up. I mean, I certainly did. You know, I was a child when I joined the band, and these helped me to grow up. You know, I got married and had kids and all that. That irony about when we split up, it couldn't have come at a better time because we'd been, like Woody said, we've been on the road for about 5 years. You know, we were in the charts more than anyone in the 80s, and we split up in 1985. So they had 5 years to catch us up, and they couldn't. And they couldn't. But Mike, you know, was feeling a lot of pressure. We were all writing songs, but he was the one that they were looking to for the hits, and he started to get fed up with it. No.
I did get a bit fed up with it at a point, yeah. But in the beginning, going back to where you were talking about before, I remember that period. Yeah, it was something wonderful about being in a band. I remember going to see Kilburn and the High Roads with Ian Drury, and just that sort of I don't know how you can describe it really, but I suppose, you know, like you're saying, not having parents and all that, and looking for some sort of group thing. I guess. I mean, I've never actually said it was a therapy for me, but other people have said that. But I think there's obviously something about it. It's like a sort of family or something, you know. But always something very attractive about being in a band. It's sort of, I don't know how or why or what, but it always sort of seemed like a pretty nice, cool, great thing to do, yeah. And making music. We all love music, of course, yeah. And we all sort of grew up together, so we all liked similar sort of music. Except for Woody over there. Bloody Jimi Hendrix stuff.
Woody and his hippie
No,
rock.
I liked all of your music. I just liked a lot of other stuff as well. There you go.
Yeah, no, we all like different music. We both had Carole King on our lists almost.
Yeah.
That's true.
But we didn't get around to that. No, Carole King was having a lot of hits when I was back at school. I remember, yeah, I loved her albums. Anyway, it all got a bit much at one point, yeah, which is sort of pretty well known, possibly, if certain people. I sort of ducked out of it, yeah, because it was getting a bit. It was more just one-dimensional. It was getting, you know, and so I think we all needed a bit of a break after a while. I mean, you're pretty young, 18 years old, when suddenly, you know, it's all taken off you, and your whole life gets completely taken up with what you're doing, and at a certain point, you maybe start asking questions. You know, is this everything? You know, is there more to it than this? And it's difficult to have time to sort of look into that when you're every moment is money, and you know you got to run here and there, and you know there's so many people involved as well. Sort of difficult because you feel everybody's relying on it, you know. So you've got a bit of responsibility as well. I mean, all these roadies in the background, managers and everything. Everybody's all sort of looking to.
Well, you're employing them, aren't you? You're their employers, really.
Yeah, you could just sack the whole lot of them, I suppose. Yeah, but we were always
Also,
a bit
there's
soft
the pressure
like
to
that.
keep going as well, because there was this thing of like, if you stop for even the shortest amount of time, you're going to be forgotten about, and that's it. Your career's washed up, so you've got to stay in the public eye.
And look
constantly.
at you now. How mad is that?
Well, we sort of felt like that. Anyway, I guess there's a certain truth to that, but you can't. I don't know if I agree with that really.
Well,
I
that's
mean,
what we
these
were
days,
told.
I think it's more about doing something authentic, really. Or that's what's that's what makes it valuable in the long run, you know.
But also, madness.
That's what great music is.
There's also what's kind of amazing about your band is people kind of leave for a bit and then they come back in, or they, you know, go off for a while and come back in, and you have like
There's a load of bald people standing behind me, and every now and then I go, is he back or is he not? I like another bald geezer behind me.
3 of them, no. 3.5.
Yeah, tolerance. You know, the real thing, and it's like British society and where we are today. Tolerance. It's tolerance, man. It's based on tolerance. That's what we had.
Yeah.
Because, for sure we had fights. Absolutely we had fights. Absolutely. But ultimately, we learned to tolerate each other.
That's funny because one of my questions actually here was,
Yeah.
when was the last time you had a physical fight with one of the members of Madness? All of you.
Well,
Fight with him, me and never do it. Never try it again.
In Manchester, that's going back a bit, but he did turn the van over. I mean, what sort of idiot would turn the van over? And more recently, yeah. It's just unedifying to be rolling about in the street as a 56-year-old man with a band member. But that's just the way it goes. We are a family, and as they say, you can choose your friends, you can't choose your family. What's that, them great Greek philosophers, the Eagles, you can check out any time you like, but you can never leave.
Okay, I've got the next record we've got up is That All There Is, which Peggy Lee, which is you, Suggs. And you chose that actually for Desert Island Disc as well, didn't you?
I did indeed, yeah. Peggy Lee, yeah. Well, I was at one of them awards, the Ivor and the Velos, whatever it is, where it's songwriters, and that's the greatest privilege of all. We got an award for songwriting because let's not be whatever. We were looked down on by the musical intelligentsia for quite a long time, because they saw us as like cavorting fools, which of course we were, but. We did put a lot of effort into writing songs, and we got an award, and Lieber and Stoller were there, man. Lieber and Stoller. Well, if you don't know who they are, whatever. But most of their songs were kind of pop jolly-ups, Peanuts, Hound Dog, all that. Anyway, I heard this song by Peggy Lee, and it was like well, funny enough, yeah. I bought a house and I got a jukebox, and the only record on it was this record. But it really was an epiphanal enlightenment. This song, Is That All There Is? And, the greatest thing about pop music sometimes is its ambiguity, and this is it. And this is it, is that all there is? Is that all there is?
Let's hear it.
This might be relevant for you, Woody. I was thinking of this song before.
It is.
When you were telling me about what happened.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Woody was lying at the floor, having drove his quad bike off a cliff. And what were you thinking, Woody?
I thought, is this it?
I remember when I was a little girl, our house caught on fire. I'll never forget the look on my father's face as he gathered me up in his arms and raced to the burning building out on the pavement. And I stood there, shivering in my pajamas, and watched the whole world go up in flames. And when it was all over, I said to myself, is that all there is to a fire? Is that all there is? Is that all there is? If that's all there is, my friends, then let's keep dancing. Let's break out the booze and have a ball. If that's all there is. And when I was 12 years old, my daddy took me to the circus, the greatest show on earth. There were clowns and elephants and dancing bears, and a beautiful lady in pink tights flew high above our heads. And as I sat there watching, I had the feeling that something was missing. I don't know what, but when it was all over, I said to myself, is that all there is to the circus? Is that all there is? Is that all there is? If that's all there is, my friends, then let's keep dancing. Let's break out the booze and have a ball. If that's all there is. And then I fell in love with the most wonderful boy in the world. We'd take long walks down by the river, or just sit for hours gazing into each other's eyes. We were so very much in love. And then one day, he went away, and I thought I'd die, but I didn't. And when I didn't, I said to myself, is that all there is to love? Is that all there is? Is that all there is? If that's all there is, my friends, then let's keep. I know what you must be saying to yourselves. If that's the way she feels about it, why doesn't she just end it all? Oh no, not me. I'm not ready for that final disappointment. 'Cause I know, just as well as I'm standing here talking to you, that when that final moment comes and I'm breathing my last breath, I'll be saying to myself, is that all there is? Is that all there is? If that's all there is, my friends, then let's keep dancing. Let's break out the booze and have a ball. If that's all there is.
Oi!
Thank you.
That's a beautiful song, that, isn't it? It's amazing.
I noticed
Okay.
that was the song that people were least interested in. I'm sorry
Yeah.
about that. I think I've cleared the dance floor with that one.
I love that one.
Thank you
So
very much.
no influence on Norton Folgate then,
No, not
if
at all.
anyone knows that album.
Yeah.
Very successful album by Madness called
You may have heard
Liberty
the
of Norton
band.
Folgate, 1999.
Well, look, this brings me to actually the Madness track that's been picked by Mike, which is
Yeah.
Blue Skinned Beast. Oh, look, see, everyone's happy with that. Okay.
Over in the corner there.
Shall we talk about that? So it's from the Rise and Fall. It's about the Falklands War. Would you like to explain why you spoke about what you chose this one?
Why I chose it one? I thought it was a great song, really. Yeah, Lee came in one day. We were rehearsing in not Caledonian Road, Market Road, somewhere around there. And Lee came in and he said, "Oh, I've got this new song." And I mean, he doesn't play it. Well, he plays saxophone. I mean, I would say he doesn't play an instrument, but he plays saxophone.
Yeah, that's
But, I mean, you can't play a piano or guitar or something. I mean, the saxophone, you can't really write a song on it. I mean, you can write a melody on it. Anyway, he came in. He had these words. He had all the tune and everything. I was quite very impressed. He had the whole thing worked out in his head. And he was just like, how's it go? And so I was sort of working it out with him, all the different chords and everything. But I just thought it was a great song, yeah. And the lyrics are brilliant, yeah. And sort of relevant today, sadly, all the, I don't know, wars going on and everything. And why they're going on, don't ask me.
But as you mentioned, and it was specific about Falklands, how ridiculous was that? You know what I'm saying? And what it was the bodies were coming back in blue plastic bags.
Yeah.
And that's the blue skin beast thing. Yeah.
Well, also, there was a story in the paper that she'd said
She'd
apparently, Margaret Thatcher had offered to get a drink for this some regiment that had been fighting in on the Falkland Islands, and at the bottom of the story was that she didn't even pay for it. She got them to pay for it, which is
Nice.
sort of telling.
Yeah.
I thought. So that's why he says,
Have a drink on me.
Have a drink on me.
3 cheers for the blue skin beast. Hip hip.
Yeah,
No, hooray.
yeah. And you mentioned earlier, and Woody mentioned, and Mike mentioned, I remember Nile Rodgers saying HDM, hidden deeper meaning, and that's all we really have tried to do.
Yeah. Do you feel, which I feel a little bit around now, if you remember the 80s, that some of the nasty parts of the 80s, that there is a similar feeling around now to do with politics and the way that people are reacting to politics? I know you went on the...
Yeah, personally, we've been through so many, like from the 70s, the 80s, yeah.
90s.
90s, yeah.
The
I
90s.
feel there's a kind of sea change, a social sea change, and every time, certainly from my own experience, you get a bit depressed. Suddenly it pops up again. Hope. I think there's hope in the air, man. I think there's hope in the air. Hope.
I mean, I also think...
wait.
Hold that needle.
Hold it.
There's more I think people are more educated these days about what's sort of going on, And in those days, back in the 80s, you wouldn't really know. I mean,
You get your
I don't know
face
with that
punched in.
Argentina war, but the fact
You
that
would get your
somebody's
face
making...
punched in if you said anything against the Falklands War, for sure. Yeah, sure.
I mean, there's patriotism and there's standing up for your country, and I don't know what we should have done exactly, but
Given them all $1 million quid
people to be
and
making
told them
a
to go
profit
live in
out of
Malibu.
it, for people to be making a profit out of something like that, and their own political career when people are dying is shameful, really.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, that's to say nothing about what's going on these days, with all these wars that we're involved in, but you wouldn't even know it,
Yeah. Should we hear it?
I can fly you to your loved ones, but I can promise no return to a shell-shock God-forsaken, where the craters still lay burn. Have a drink on me, have a drink on me. Still the worst is over, that I hope you understand. Then you're one more hurdle over, a protector of the land. Have a drink on me, I put you down to the company. 3 cheers to the blue skin beast, dip him. To the blue skin beast, dip him. 3 cheers to the blue skin beast, dip him, hip, hip. To the blue skin beast, dip him. You have this medal, you can even melt it down, or frame it in the living room every time you turn around. Have a drink on me, have a drink on me. I heard you shout for yesterday, but I was sleeping on the job, and I dreamt of fighters miles away whose lives I had to rob. Have a drink on me, I put you down to the company. 3 cheers to the blue skin beast, dip him. To the blue skin beast, dip him. 3 cheers to the blue skin beast, dip him, hip, hip. To the blue skin beast, dip him. Have this medal, you can even melt it down, or frame it in the living room every time you turn around. I can fly your loved ones to you with guarantee of no return. And if John Wayne dummies bounce off, that looks soft when it comes your turn. Have a drink on me, I put you down to the company. 3 cheers to the blue skin beast, hip hip. To the blue skin beast, hip hip. 3 cheers to the blue skin beast, hip hip, hip hip. To the blue skin beast, hip hip. Hip hip.
What's it like when you hear your old records? Do you kind of think, oh, are you transported back to when you made them, or do you just analyse them? Or
what really literally happens is Woody goes, Jesus Christ, that was a complicated drum part.
Yeah, oh God, I just did.
Mike's got the soul, and I'm just thinking there was a hell of a lot of words in that one. I can remember.
I was just thinking there's no editing in those days. You had to play it from the beginning to the end, and that was it. If your cock's up, you started again. My God, that's so complicated. Try and work out the drums on that. Blimey,
So easier now then.
But
Easier now?
certainly,
What? Yeah, I just don't play so complicated.
what we were talking about, as an example, obviously we were like a singles band, and that's why we weren't taken very seriously, I don't think, until quite recently. But so you hear a track like that, and it reminds you of the fact that we were engaged. You know what I mean? We were engaged. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I've got 3 tracks more left to play, but I'm very aware that people are going to want to ask questions. So I'm going to drop the next one. Sorry, Woody, because it's yours, which is.
What was it?
It was
Carol
Feel the
King.
Earth Move. So.
Drop that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's only on one of the greatest albums ever made. It's all
but
right,
they all know it. They all
It's
know it.
all right.
I mean, they know.
It's all right. Everyone knows Tapestry,
feel
don't
the
you?
earth.
Oh, I know
Yeah, it's a great album. Yeah.
Under my feet, we can do it.
Feel
There you
that.
go.
Don't take the hump and don't text while we're talking.
I'm trying to tell my missus to stop ringing me while I'm doing this.
It's not happening. It's not happening, darling.
Not happening. I'll see you later.
Okay, well, instead we're going to go to the next one, which is I Don't Want to Go to Chelsea, which is obviously Elvis Costello. That's your
Now
choice,
we're
Mike.
talking.
Nah.
Oh, well, go on then, Mike.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Do you want to explain why you chose this one?
Because it's good.
It's obviously good.
Why did I choose this one?
Yeah.
Because
You can't remember.
I was listening
Why
to
is
it when I
that
was in my
umming and
van
ahhing?
job. When I was in my van job, I had a little speaker in the back, handmade, and I used to listen to this. This was just before the band started, yeah. So Elvis Costello sort of appeared in those days, and we were all, trying to get a band going at the time. I had a delivery job, and I had a little handmade speaker behind my head, and I used to have a cassette
I'm not
player.
saying he delivered bananas.
And I had this album. I used to like Elvis Costello. I mean, he's good. He's done a lot of good stuff. But like everybody, not everything is good, I think. Some of the stuff is great, though, and I love this album. Him and the Attractions were great. I don't know why he went off. Not that it's got anything to do with this discussion or anything. Why he went off and trying to always do something different, always sort of different this and that, when it was great what he was doing at the time. Great album, this great song. And I think, talking about that raw we were talking about earlier, energy and all that,
Yeah.
this was very sort of raw in those days. I mean, this they used to call New Wave. I don't know if you remember those days.
I do remember them.
You
talk
had
about
punk, and then you had New
New
Wave.
Wave,
And
yeah.
the story of punk was nobody could play their instruments. And it was an awful cacophony. And then New Wave came along, and it was all a little bit more music.
And also, we're talking about the Clash, a 4-piece band. I've seen Elvis Costello and the Attractions a load of times. I ain't never seen a more succinct, energetic outfit. 4 people. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. And what was it?
Now I remember, I remember
that Lee
seeing them in
Thompson
Croydon.
Is that a sax player? No, it's not.
Seeing them in Croydon. They were just
Croydon?
on a stiff tour, Elvis Costello, and they did... anyway, he had this little organ. He had a Vox Continental, and it just sounded brilliant. Yeah, they were just a great band, I think, yeah.
So
they were instrumental in us when we were starting.
Don't tell me you've been to the Fairfield Hall, have you?
It was the Fairfield Hall,
There you go.
indeed,
Yeah.
in your area, yeah.
Croydon.
My area, yeah.
If
It was
you
in
had
1979 or
if you had
78.
someone like that, which you obviously really admired and inspired you, how did you feel when you met them? At Top of the Pops or anything like that? Were you ever intimidated?
Well,
I can't imagine
we
you
did a
were,
song
but-
with Elvis.
Yeah.
We did Tomorrow's Just Another Day.
Yeah.
And he did a great verse. He did a great singing.
I know Mike's never stopped going on about how much better he sang it.
It was
than
good
I-
before. I'm not saying it wasn't.
no,
he
no.
definitely added something.
You made it very clear that he sang it 10 times better than I did. But strangely, Clive Langer, who's here, I think we're going to speak to at some point,
Yeah, why don't we get Clive over here?
produced all our records, was on the same label as Elvis. And Mike's older brother, Ben, used to play in Clive's band. And so there was a kind of a parallel with the people that we knew and Elvis's band also, but it doesn't alter the fact that his records were great. Elvis Costello's records, yeah.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Photographs and fancy tricks to get your kicks at 6 to 6. It thinks of all the lips that it licks and all the girls that it's going to fix. She gave a little flirt, gave herself a little cuddle, but there's no place here for the miniskirt waddle. Capital punishment, she is last year's model. They're calling Natasha when she looks like Elsa. I don't want to go to Chelsea. Oh no, it does not move me, even though I seen the movie. I don't want to check your pulse. I don't want nobody else. I don't want to go to Chelsea. Everybody's got new orders. Be a nice girl and kiss the waters. Now the teacher is away. All the kids begin to play. Man comes screaming, dressed in white coat, shake you very gently by the throat. One's named Gus, one's named Alfie. I don't want to go to Chelsea. Oh no, it does not move me, even though I seen the movie. I don't want to check your pulse. I don't want nobody else. I don't want to go to Chelsea. Photographs and fancy tricks to get your kicks at 6 to 6. It thinks of all the lips that it licks and all the girls that isn't going to fix. She gave a little flirt, gave herself a little cuddle. That there's no place here for the miniskirt waddle. Gavels her punishment, she's last year's model. They call her Natasha when she looks like Elsa. I don't want to go to Chelsea. Oh no, it does not move me, even though I seen the movie. I don't want to check your pulse. I don't want nobody else. I don't want to go to Chelsea.
So, Suggs, sing what you were singing to me.
Sorry, what?
So, sing what you were singing to me. So, Suggs and Woody.
Me and Woody go to Chelsea.
There you go.
And that's another story.
That's another story.
I'll tell you a funny story, though, about Woody was talking about the drumming on that, because he's a drummer, obviously. He can't talk about anything else. I remember we were playing with him, a UB40, somebody else in Birmingham, and drummer, Pete Thomas. Was it Pete Thomas, the drummer?
Yeah.
Our saxophone player isn't the tallest person in the world. And he's got his top pocket on his suit jacket and flicked his ash in it. And Lee's looked up like that. You can see that. He's climbed on a bar stool, climbed on the bar, and then knocked him out.
But first
Not
of
that
all,
I'm propagating
he
violence.
offered him a cigarette.
Yeah.
So when he put the cigarette to his mouth, his jaw was open. Oh,
It's an old,
professional, innit?
bad
Bad
thing.
thing to do.
But,
He
yeah,
deserved it.
the attractions, yeah, what a band,
We're going to move to Can't Touch Us Now, because that's one of the reasons why we're here. So, do you want to talk about just a little bit about how the album came about, how you wanted to go record it, and then I think we're going to hear Don't Let Them Catch You Crying. We can talk about that and a few others, and then we'll hear the whole thing. So, what did you want to do with this album that you didn't do with Wee Wee CC?
Go on, Mike.
Go on, Barlow.
What did we want to do with it? Well, when we started this album, we weren't really starting an album. Chris, who's often a little source of inspiration for the band, every now and then, before he sort of turns his back on it here and there. But at that time, he was saying, yeah, we've got to rehearse. And we booked ourselves in, for no particular reason, into a rehearsal room somewhere in Holloway area. And we just started rehearsing like 3 days a week. It was a very small little place. Usually, I mean, often, you know, when your band reaches a certain size, you want to go into rehearsals and there's like, this one gets the lorry, that one gets the equipment. And before you know it, it's like £3,000 before you've even got there, you know. It's like, gets very expensive. So we just had enough of all that sort of stuff. So we just wanted to go do something small on our own. So we just started rehearsing and no particular, you know, aim or anything. And we all got together and it was just, it was really nice. And everybody came in with songs. And the funny thing was that every song that they came in with was seemed to be really good. I don't know if it was us like stuck in that little space with nothing else to do. But everybody seemed to be really getting into it, yeah, which was nice. And there was no like outside pressures, no outside anything. It was just us doing it really. And so yeah, we had a good time and we got a few songs together. Then we got our wonderful producer Clive Langer, who's out there somewhere.
Is that there? Yes. Should we bring Clive?
Come on.
Why don't we
Charlie
bring
Andrew
Clive
in?
here up and
Can we bring them in? Where are you? I can't see. Oh, there you are. Hello. Would you like to come in and come on my mic? Well, actually, don't come on my mic. Come on somebody's
This is
mic.
Clive and
I've
Charlie.
got to ask you questions.
Hot team.
Here we are.
Best producers in the
Clive
business.
Langer, Charlie Andrew, come to the mic. You can share mics like
We're going to
backing
adore you.
Okay.
We're going to sit here and adore you.
So, Clive, do you want to tell us about the recording of the album? You're in the way, Suggs. It's not going to work. This is not going to work.
It was.
Say something positive, right?
Because
It was another Madness album,
Yeah.
and I get pulled in when they don't know what to do, you know, and they get a bit stuck, and they don't
Which
know how
point
to
do they get put to?
finish the process of rehearsing. And what do we do next? Well, we want to. It's called Clive, and so I came in and I spent a few weeks with them in the rehearsal room, just like we always have done since the beginning. And you know, I said to Woody, "What about 2 bass drum beats there, or stop here?" You know, whatever. And we did that
All
for a
great
while.
ideas, all great.
And sorry, I was thinking about Donald Trump then.
Don't do that. That's a weird thing to think about.
Don't ruin it.
Anyway, and then we had to decide how to record it.
Yeah.
And Alan lives in Portugal, so he's out of the picture. Alan Winstanley, and we love working with Liam, which we did on the beginning of Norton Folgate.
Yeah.
And Mike's a big fan of Liam's and the way he records. But I know that when you work with Liam, you've got problems because he's got 8 tracks.
And that's it.
And you mix your drums and bass down on the day one. And, you know, if Woody wants his hi-hat up, he can't have it.
So essentially, what you're saying is it's like a back to basics studio. So
Yeah.
you're going to get a particularly probably warm feel, but you won't get all the kind of detail that perhaps people.
He records
want.
in a very old-fashioned way, so the sounds are different. I mean, if you hear the drum sound on the first track on the album, you'll hear the drums are kind of, you know, they're not hi-fi. They're not like Alan Winstanley would have recorded them. They would have been very bright. The snare drum would have been bright and zing. It's not. It's the room. It's a couple of mics, old-fashioned mics, and you get what you're given. You have to use his kit and do it his way, and then he'll let you in. You know.
And you recorded it quite quickly, is that right? 3
Yeah.
weeks? You're looking at me Mike, like I'm saying it wrong, is that right? No, fine.
Looking at Clive Langer here.
What have I done?
Yeah. No, I'm not saying anything, no.
Well, what I really liked about it is that you decisions are made quickly, so you can't really have a committee meeting about the hi-hat.
Yeah.
You know, it's done.
Because there's no question, because it's so simple.
That's it. It's gone.
And then Charlie, you came in. So Charlie, as you can tell, is the young
Indeed.
whippersnapper of the operation. This is Charlie Andrew. He's worked with people like Alt J and others. But why were you brought in, Mr.
Well,
Youngster?
I've worked with Clive for
Yeah.
quite a few years now, working on Clive's own son's own band originally. We got to know each other well that way. And as Clive mentioned, Alan, who Clive worked with over many years, now lives in Portugal. So I suppose in a way I sort of took up his role a little bit.
Yeah.
Would you say that?
Yeah. I mean, Suggs once said, I made a mess and Alan, sorted it out. So Charlie sorts out the mess that we made. And Charlie is a great producer in his own right. But in this situation, he worked in when we work together, we work in a different dynamic to what you're used to.
I suppose so, because obviously it's a collaborative effort. Clive's come in with loads of ideas. He was producing this record long before I was involved in it.
Yeah.
Whereas
before you were born.
Before I was born.
Yeah.
But so normally I'm used to producing records myself, so it's a different working dynamic, but it's one that I love. And working with Clive, I've learned so much, so it's great.
But if you're working in an 8-track studio, how do you make it sound right for?
So I came in after the 8-track studio.
Yeah.
So Liam, who we mentioned earlier, I don't know if he's here, but I've never met him. And so he did the tracking down to 8-track, and then that was digitized and brought to my realm. I'm a big fan of that way of recording. It's keeping it simple. Like Clive said, if you haven't got too many options, it's great, because it's actually that can breed creativity.
Yeah.
But modern studios these days, you have so many options, and you have to have them because everyone wants to use it. So. And that's my studio. I've got all the modern stuff, and then we sort of brought that old school recording that was made into the digital realm, and then exactly, and then continued with some overdubs and whatnot, and mixing the record.
And it was done.
And it was done. Ta-da.
Where is Suggs?
Where do you think?
Yeah. He's gone out for a fact. And so, I want to talk really quickly.
I just want to say that Liam, it's great sound we get in Liam's studio, like Charlie was sort of alluding to, and Charlie does something great with it as well. When he gets it all in his thing, and he also makes it sound really good somehow or other. I don't know how he does it.
It's that technical
But he
thing.
often makes some of the tracks sound really nice. Yeah, so we're very happy with them. Yeah.
Cheers, Mike.
Well done. So I'm going to get you
Mike.
to
Thank
sit
you very
down
much.
again, because I'm very aware. Sorry, I feel like I've kind of got you up and then you have to sit down again.
No,
But I'm very aware of time, so you have to leave now.
Right.
So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Clive.
Thank you.
And you'll be pleased to know that my wife has written me a text saying, "Feckin' hell, you've been ages. I have to make my own cup of tea."
Oh,
it's a tough
Have a
life.
cup of tea.
Have a cup of tea.
Have a cup of tea.
Solves everything.
Have a cup of tea. Anyway, this is it.
There is the album.
Probably the greatest album ever made by anybody. And, as, alluding, I'm getting a bit bored of repeating that word. But as we were alluding to earlier, can't touch us now. Why? Why can't touch us now? Because they fucking can't.
well, should we talk about a couple of the tracks? Should we talk? I wanted to talk about Blackbird and Mr. Apples, and then we'll talk about Don't Catch Them Catch. Don't Let Them Catch Crying. Okay.
Yeah.
So should we talk about Blackbird? It's obviously famously
Blackbird.
about Amy Winehouse.
Yeah, we, apart from a lot of other things, we were talking about going back to the basic roots of how we used to record, which was spending a lot of time in the rehearsal room, writing and all that, and then as little time as possible in the studio. But also, we were talking about that, the lyric writers and the musicians are writing music, and the lyricists, and the musicians are writing lyrics. We were starting to write songs individually, and we were just thinking, will you shut up at the back there, oi?
Yeah.
You.
Yeah. You too.
Well, somebody in our management team said maybe, for instance, I sent Mike a couple of tunes and Chris, our guitarist, sent me a tune. So instead of just writing the songs on your own, share it about a bit. And anyway, Chris sent me this tune, and it was not long after Amy Winehouse died. And I really don't want, or didn't still want, to have any morbid sort of crap about that. But I did see her. I used to see her around Camden Town, and who doesn't know what Amy Winehouse was? And I was walking down Dean Street, and she said to me, "All right, nutty boy." She said, "All right, nutty boy, right?" You know what I mean? I'm a 56-year-old fart. I ain't been called a nutty boy since 1979. And that sort of stuck in my head. And I thought it'd be nice to write a song that celebrates, her life and all that.
Yeah. Okay, and should we talk about Mr. Apples really quickly? Yeah, Mr. Apples.
Mr. Apples. Who's
Is
that
it about
fella?
anyone? Oh, Keith Faz.
Who's that fella? Who's that fella, like, right there in the Vatican at the moment, like?
Oh, you mean the cardinal that's being done
I've
for...
got no idea. I wouldn't, even suggest.
Yeah.
I wouldn't suggest.
The one who's very close to the Pope but isn't the Pope.
I remember my nephew said to me, he said, "Uncle, is the whole of British society built on paedophilia?" Well, like I say, I'm not in a position to tell him that, Anyway, Mr. Apples is a light-hearted look at the powers that be.
The things that built Britain. Okay, and let's do Don't Let Them Catch You Crying. I mean, this is possibly slightly difficult because you didn't write it, but sometimes it's nicer to get an analysis of something.
Well, what was nice is, like Mike was saying, we were grafting away in the rehearsal room, and then just at the end, when we thought we'd sort of done what we needed to do, Mike pulled a song out of the bag, "You Are My Everything," and Chris, and on the same day, these two songs came through on my email, and it's an amazing thing. It's an amazing. When I think about it, I remember when we were recording Absolutely, it was our second or third album, and where's the singles, guys? Where's the singles? And there was no singles, and then suddenly I wrote Baggy Trousers, and I think Mike and Lee wrote Embarrassment just at the last minute. And it felt a bit like that, yeah. Those two songs come out of nowhere, yeah.
And Mike, what do you think of that song particularly?
I thought the same thing. I mean, it was sort of me and him who were trying to, like, some people were saying, the rehearsal's fucking finished, we're not going to do any more songs.
Clive.
Clive, come back and explain yourself.
Not naming any names.
But these songs... These songs were great, yeah. And when I heard that song, I thought, this is really good. I mean, sometimes like just the version, and it was Lee, Chris made the demo, and Lee was singing it, but he sang it really well, and it just sort of came right on that tape.
Here he goes again.
It's a really nice tune, yeah. Lovely chords,
yeah,
progressions, and all that.
All that.
Nice bit of piano. And yeah, great song, really, yeah.
Okay, shall we hear it? And then we're going to have a few minutes for a Q&A, for a short Q&A, okay? Let's hear it.
When I'm with you, it's so scary I could die. When I'm with you, I'm so happy I could cry. Just being with you, well, it sets the world alight. There's no illusion, there's no confusion, just a roller coaster ride. You're so hungry for life, but with each slice and each and every bite, I feel you digging deeper and deeper into my soul. I'll be a cushion for crying out loud. I'll be your stick when you're battling the crowd. You'll never get to bet your heads in the clouds, but don't let them catch you crying. When I'm with you, when I'm with you, I can't make you do the things I want you to. You got to want it too. I want for you to have what's so rightfully yours, to continue your cause. You're so hungry for life, but with each slice and each and every bite, I feel you digging deeper and deeper into my soul. I'll be your cushion for crying out loud. I'll be your stick when you're battling the crowd. You're navigator, but your head's in the clouds. But don't let them catch you crying. When I'm with you, when I'm with you, it's so scary I could die. When I'm with you, I'm so happy I could cry. You're so hungry for life, but with each slice and each and every bite, I feel you digging deeper and deeper into my soul. I'll be your cushion for crying out loud. I'll be your stick when you're battling the crowd. You're navigator, but your head's in the clouds. But don't let them catch you crying. But don't let them catch you crying. I'll be your cushion for crying out loud. I'll be your stick when you're battling the crowd. You're navigator, but your head's in the clouds. But don't let them catch you crying.
It's a
If,
belter.
the, if there was
Okay,
any,
now, a
if
bit
there was
of-
any justice, that should be number one in America.
it's a beautiful
in my opinion. It's a brilliant song.
Okay, I've been
That
told
goes.
by the official people that we have time for 3 questions. Sorry about this. Hey, okay. Oh my God, all right. I saw, because you're in my eye line, I did see you two first, and then I'm going to come over here, okay? But we've got 2 blokes, I'd like a lady, okay? All right, you're first. Oh, actually, do you want to come over there because there's a microphone, or do you want to come and ask it here? Because otherwise we can't hear you.
I'll just repeat the question.
Yeah, go on, shout
what
it.
is
You've spoken well about London. You love London. You've spoken with humanity, and you're authentic. So, not particularly for Suggs, but for any 3 of you,
Yeah.
would you please consider, if the job became available, standing for Mayor of London?
This fella has just asked us if we'd stand for Mayor of London. Barzo, over to you.
Yes, I would. Let's get at it. Yeah.
Yes, 3. We've got 1, yes?
What's the first thing you'd do if you were Mayor of
3
London?
mayors of London. What about that?
All right.
But 3 mayors. 3 mayors. First thing you'd do, yeah, 9:30 in the morning, you're up there at the office.
I'd ring in to say, sorry, I can't make it. There's a bit of a hold up there.
Bit late.
So
I don't know,
I'd do the evening shift, so I'd be a nightmare.
Hey, buntish. Are you a drummer? That's such a drummer.
I would tax Google, Amazon and all that mob and put the money back into society.
Good.
I know it sounds a bit cliche.
Okay, we've got 3 mayors, so you're fine. Okay, you're.
3 mayors for everyone.
Hey!
Hey!
Your question?
With the crap that's going on in London at the moment, you've never been an overtly political band, although we've heard some political tracks tonight. Do you regret that you haven't had that voice to actually talk about more socially what's going on?
Shall I repeat
We've
that one?
been asked whether we're overtly political, do we regret it? Shove off.
Why do you say
What do you
shove off?
think? We're on two-tone. We're on red wedge. We're still here. You know what I mean? What do you mean overtly political? I don't understand the question, mate.
You've never
We haven't been seen as one. Haven't been seen as one. So do we regret the fact that people like you didn't see it? No, I don't.
Okay. Next one. Next question over here. Was there anyone over here? I would like a woman. I'd like. You know who I'd like to ask? I'd like you to ask a question because you were dancing the whole night. Yeah, you. Because you literally danced throughout when you were eating your cake and everything, the whole night. No, you don't want to. Do we have any women who'd like to ask a question? Otherwise, it's going to have to be another fella. No, okay. Yeah, go on. That's your question. Yeah, well, random is good. Okay, there you go. 6 chicken nuggets.
If we were
sauce.
to buy 6 chicken nuggets, Barzo, what sauce would you have?
I think she's making you your tea.
I'd have Harry Monk.
I wouldn't buy chicken nuggets because I'm a vegetarian.
What would you have, Mike?
I'd have tomato ketchup if I'm completely painfully honest.
Okay, and on that bombshell, we're gonna have to wind it up. So I would like to say thank you for being a fantastic audience. Why are you waving at me? You're putting a hand up. One more question. Saying one more question. All right, fella, you've been waiting for a long time. No, you? Who was it? Who are you waving at?
Go on.
Him. Okay.
Mike played us some great songs.
What did he say? What?
He's done some brilliant melodies on lots of songs. My question is, with your amazing finger dexterity, do you get referred to as Magic Mike?
Do I get what?
Referred to as Magic Mike.
Do you get referred to as Magic Mike?
And
Magic
if so,
Mike.
by who?
Yeah.
Yes, I do. Often, yeah. Quite often.
By who?
Reasonably often. By my wife.
There you go. There you go.
I'm twisting her arm.
I should be a straight man.
And my children.
Okay, that's even more bombshells. I think we have to stop. Okay, so one more. All right, he keeps telling me one more. What?
Mike, when you left the band, did you follow the band after you left? And how did you feel how they did with the previous albums?
I don't know how many previous albums. I know they did one album, Mad Not Mad. I thought it was great. They didn't seem to like it very much, but I thought it was pretty good, yeah. Especially that track, Dance with a Madman or something.
Mad Not Mad.
Mad Not Mad. That was great. I loved that track, yeah. I thought it was a good album, yeah. So, I don't know.
Funny like the full circle thing, because how could you replace Barza and we couldn't? You know, we knew it was over, but we got Steve Naive from Elvis Costello's band, you know what I mean? Who on earth on the planet? And Steve Naive did a good job, but it was definitely, the game was up then. Yeah, the game was up. He's got one, go on. What?
Last one.
Yeah.
Last word.
It's not a question.
Oh.
I'm standing here. I love the band. I sent the photograph to my wife. She says to me, "You were so close."
You were.
There you go. And that bombshell. Another one. Okay.
Surreal.
I think we have to wind it up now because
My
honestly,
girls-
the boss is
Yeah.
telling me we have to wind it up, right?
My girl's mad at me. We argued just the other night.
So what I'm going to do is say thank you for being a really brilliant audience, because you have been a really brilliant audience. I'd like to thank you to Mike and to Suggs and to Woody. And we're now going to hear the whole of the album. So you can chat all the way through.
Thanks,
Thank you very much.
Miranda.
Oh no.